Alright, so in this one, I think it's time to praise Legends yet again. They had praise for me when the new Shallot stuff came, the other changes alongside it, but mostly the Shallot stuff, right? Because it's a free unit. Oh my god, we got basically 5 different iterations of one free unit being good in very much a lot of departments, with Shallot being a good support type, a good damage dealer, a good kind of disruptor at some points, even in God, though he's not the best in God, just a good unit in those forms. We now have Anniversary that has begun, and we have the raid coming out when this video actually does go up. Legends 5th year anniversary has actually been probably, in my opinion, this is the best anniversary. So I'll touch on the things that I do want to praise on it. The first thing being the banner. Now, I will say the LS on the banner are not ideal, but I will have to also say, in exchange of that, the featured characters, Goku, Frieza, I count them as a top 5 unit. If you don't, they're at least a top 10 unit in the game. I think that's very uncontestable. They are very, very good. So having good banner value obviously is a good beginning sequence of a part, right? It gives a good feeling. Like if I see a bad banner, I'm just like, ugh, why do I even want to play? I want good new units. I want top tier good new units. And it's exactly that. We have Goku Frieza being very top tier. You have, wait, what? Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell? Why do we... Wait, what? It goes only LFs, then into 1%? That's so silly. Okay, we'll just go Z powerless then. But we have Goku Frieza being very good. Then we do have Jiren as the other new unit here. The other 1% out of the 4 1% units that have come out. By the way, a 4-unit banner. Ridiculous. We have not gotten that since UI Omen Black Friday. A couple years back, we haven't had a 4-unit sparking banner that has been as good as this. And I'll probably say the units from when they first dropped, you know, Jiren, Toppo, Dispo, UI Omen, they were all very top tier, but Dispo being kind of lackluster of the 4 units. Casserole kind of fits that mold here, but they were all very top tier in release, so the value is clearly high. And same thing here, Jiren right behind, or maybe even right above the LF Goku Frieza for some people. Personally, I do think Jiren is a little bit less than them, just because of the Zenkai they can get and the team they can do, and teams they can do are very much more diverse than Jiren. But Jiren is... I mean, he's him. To be fair, there's nothing I can say that's going to slander him. He's just him. Jiren does his job of defense in this. He has a lot of good offense. He's essentially a better Blue Zamasu. Let's say Blue Zamasu came out nowadays. This would be Blue Zamasu with, like, a balanced patch. He's an updated version of him, which is a very good sign because Jiren, as a defense type with the Vegeta pose in his full power form, you would think, oh god, I'm terrified. No, Jiren is clearly a step up from the 4th year anniversary, having 2 new Sparkings. Now we have double that, and even more so than that, the X's aren't even that terrible, which I'll touch on as well. Kai Wei is very good. I actually think she's a little underrated. Kai Wei is probably the current, like, solo unit-wise, best support. Obviously, you do have Pan that's very good. You have Puddle. You have others that are good supports. But, like, overall kit-wise, as a support-type unit, she's probably the best one because that 30% support that just stays forever off that green card. And then even more so than that, her individual kit having that Nullifying Endurance on the ultimate, having the Vanish Removal twice on her green cards, having the Vanish back on Sidestep. She has a lot of just annoyances that do her job well and let her always get the support, always get the annoying vanishes, get you a rush situation as well. You could be very tedious with Kai Wei, and that's her job as support type. She's meant to just be annoying as hell and make your allies do a lot, and she does exactly her job. A very good dropping of a unit there. Surprisingly, the irrelevant characters, they actually make them half decent, which Kai Wei is definitely irrelevant, but she's half decent, which, and even more so, she's more than half decent. She's actually pretty good. Jiren, I would say very good. Goku Frieza, great. And then Kai Wei, pretty good, right? Then you do have Castor, who's unfortunately the worst of the bunch. His utility, though, is pretty solid. He does what? Remove Vanish, he can lock in, he can get Endurance at Last Man Standing. He does support as well, I believe 20% at peak. Not like he's bad, but they cucked him. Castor, unfortunately, does not have a good stat spread. This is even with full arts boost here. Wait, is it? Wait, this is a full arts boost? Oh, this is full arts boost. Wait, what? Oh my god, yeah, 265k strike is not something you want to see there. If he had like 280k strike, honestly, he probably would have been better than Jiren, to be real, because he does have a lot of good utility in his kit, but sadly, they went like a red dispo route with him where he does so many cards that he can't, you know, have high strike stat. They got scared, essentially. So it was like, oh, okay, what are you going to do? It happens. So the new units, all very good. The Sparkings, the EXs, I scroll down quite a bit to find them here. But basically, Vados is somebody that can stop rushes from happening, right? You swap in, rush sealed 5 timer counts. I believe May ability gets sealed there as well. And then she blocks green cards 5 timer counts just on come in every single entry the entire fucking game. So her value there is very good as a stalling type to also help you get 30% health back on her main ability. So she does good healing, she does good stalling for the Rising Rush, which is absolutely the most tedious mechanic in this entire game. And her having that value, oh my god, how far do I have to scroll? Jesus Christ! What the hell is this? Thank you! Her value being as good as it is even EX, I do recommend you start her up if you do pull her. Very nice there. And then Champa, he's just an okay damage dealer. He's probably the worst of all the bunch here. It's going to be Casserole, and then Champa being the worst 2 on the banners. But he's just an EX. I don't have to expect him to be amazing. If he's okay enough, great. He's okay enough, great. So the banner itself with the new units is fantastic. Now to look at the actual featured characters, it's a little bit harsh. You know, LF Cooler, he did cook technically in the video I had of him, but he's very inconsistent in his output, so he does want a Super Saiyan to be in the meta for him to be as good as he is. So maybe in the future he could gain value, but for now, he's not in the spot to be where he could do amazing. MUI is okay. If you do arts boost him, he's culpable to be okay enough. Obviously, he's not better than Casserole or Hit, but his value still can be usable, and I guess having him as this LF alternate option if you don't end up pulling Casserole somehow, it's not the worst thing. It's just you know, it could have been somebody else, right? It could have easily been just other units that are just simply better. Jiren, I think this Jiren is pretty solid. I've seen very good bulk from this Jiren, full power Jiren here. Obviously, is not as, you know, great as he was prior to this banner dropping because the yellow Jiren does exist, but his value still is okay enough to run him. I don't think he's a bad unit to run. It's just kind of like MUI in the boat of you have better, why not just run better? But having these alternate options, though, as 1% is also a, you know, blessing from Legends, I guess you'd call it. Then, continue on, Bardock, I'm just going to go past him because he's not very good. And then even more so, Evo, solid, he's just an alternate option now, unfortunately, for Mr. Jiren there, because Jiren is just better. Full Power Frieza, hopefully gets a Zenkai, because he could be very good. And then, even more so than that, can I click the thing? Okay, that takes so long to load in. Omen, hopefully it's a Zenkai. Then I believe there's one more on this banner here, if it could click. It has such a delayed click. First Form Frieza, I actually see him being run quite often as a blue card spawner, a very good synergy for the Goku Frieza duo here. So, not too shabby in the department of the side LFs. More or less, they are being these alternates if you don't end up pulling the main thing. You know, Goku Frieza, okay, here's Jiren. Cooler, okay, well, here's Casserole, or Casserole, here's Cooler. MUI, okay, same thing, Casserole or MUI there, etc., etc., etc. You have these, at least these alternate options that are on the banner. So while it's not great side LFs, it is at least alternates to what you'd want to run anyways if you're summoning for this banner, as the main units are better, but they're at least culpable side units there that are not the worst in the entire game. Even more than that, speaking of units, since we're on that topic specifically here, the free-to-play units. Now, this Vegeta is amazing. The video prior to this was this Vegeta at Triple Zenkai buff, just because I want to see his peak power, and even his initial showcase. This Vegeta cooks. He is probably the best free-to-play unit in the game right now, specifically because his team of uni reps is a lot better than the team of androids for Red 21, as she was the last best free-to-play unit. He is phenomenal. Team heal, cup pen, stacking damage, yada yada yada. He does a lot of damage. He does his job very well. This Vegeta is definitely a more overwhelming than underwhelming buff to the Unireps team and to the game, because everyone has him. You get co-op, you do co-op, you're done. It's the simplest way to get him. I'm glad they made him as good as he is, because he also has the same animations as the last year Vegeta, and that guy sucked. So at least the good animations are on a new Vegeta, right? Which is very cool for us. This Gohan, I've heard a lot of slander, but he's not the worst thing in the world. He's not like worse than the free Super Saiyan Gogeta or units prior to the last year anniversary. No, he's an okay unit. He doesn't do phenomenal. He's just okay. That's what free-to-play units are meant to be anyways. In a grand scheme, this Vegeta is more just an exception, but Gohan is just okay. He is the definition of I am free-to-play. Vegeta's definition of low-key, I'm kind of summonable, but like, you got me for free because I'm feeling nice to you. And that's what Legends did for this anniversary with that Vegeta. Even more so than that, we do have the raid that has dropped, which I mentioned, but the raid, if I could find it in the news here, probably right here. Just wait a little bit. Hold on, give me a second. Scroll down a tad bit. I know there's other stuff I have to talk about, but I want to talk about the raid specifically right now. It is right here. We do have 7 raids coming, so us getting 7 raids obviously will be very nice. That's 4,900cc as they mentioned. Probably, I would assume 2 raids, maybe 3 raids, you know, in part 1, then part 2 gets 2 raids, then part 2 gets 2 raids, or part 3 gets 2 raids to wrap it up. But one part we're going to get 3 raids, right? So one part we're just getting 2,100cc from just the raids alone. Assumably the shops will reset, as they did mention something about the shops there as well. But raids are decent. I know sometimes you got to have these very much more startup units to get the full drops, but us even having this many raids to get this much CC is a blessing for us here. Even more so than that, everything I've scrolled past already, I have to talk about because it is worth talking about. This here, you get 100 total Sparkings every single day. I actually didn't do mine today. You get a 10 unit summon ticket. And then from this banner, which I believe is right here, I actually did do 2 of them, you could get decent LFs. I mean, Forku's right there, Rosé's not the worst, Puddle's not the worst. You actually could get decent units from this. Me personally, I have everything maxed out, so it's just kind of extra Z medals for me. But the fact that people can just get these units as a reroll account, a new player, you can get a lot of accessibility to a lot of Z abilities you might not have the full peak for, I guess you'd call, because you're not going to have this, you know, here's Forku 14-star Z ability. No, you're going to have him at 2 stars, then you're going to star him up, then you're going to 6 stars. It's like, okay, now his bench is pretty solid. He just went from base to Super Saiyan Blue. I have not seen that because I've been watching animations. Interesting. Even more so than that, though, you have a lot of good opportunities to pull half-decent stuff. Sometimes you'll get trash, like this, but sometimes you might get something good, like... My point still stands that you will definitely get something good eventually along the lines, and if nothing else, Blue Beerus is pretty solid. He's new. He's not the worst thing in the world. Again, this is a new player banner. This is not for the veterans who have had these units already done and maxed out, or like they're close to done. This is for new players who get good Z abilities, good benches. Blue Beerus is actually optimal bench on that best team in the game, so him being there is not actually a bad summon if you were to run that optimal team and you pulled all those new units, right? So having that even exist is a W from Legends there as well. To mention more, the story event, I think that's a cool little throwback. They haven't done one of those in a bit. I believe second anniversary kind of tried to do it, but first anniversary like really did. It was like Super Vegito versus the Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta from all the units that were dropping. Obviously, they were all the units that came out from the banners. And it was cool. It was just a concept. It was kind of just silly, but it was cool. Same thing we got with Goku Frieza versus, I believe it was Broly. And I think that concept was cool, seeing just characters that don't really fight because the game just said, hey, now it's your turn. It's an interesting concept. Also, more on this, you can also get Zenkai buffs. You know, I just got Fistku there. So if I got the 7 stars from this banner, boom, Zenkai buff for, I believe he does blue movies, right? So that's be a Zenkai buff for Beast, etc., etc., etc. Another Beerus, wow. Not too shabby there. I'd Z-part of the 6 stars if I had to. And then boom, Z ability. Some PRC inflicted 2 blue card there. And strike, attack, and defense. Very good for his main team. Nonetheless, though, to continue even more, I know there's a lot, but there's a lot to guess. This is a good anniversary so far. Part 1. This is a part 1 video. This is not a full anniversary video. This is a part 1 video. And I do feel when Legends gets praise, it deserves praise. It's not always they deserve praise, but sometimes they deserve praise. Even this exchange medal shop here, by the way, gives you seeds, gives you racers, CC, blah, 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 all the works there, which is very nice and just a little cool thing. I actually do like this title, just to mention, as like a quick little side note. This title, it's pretty nice. Like, I actually enjoy it. This here could have been better. I think this goes up to the LF androids, the, 10 days, one lives limited every day, or rather every 10 days. It could have been better, but the fact that we get it, again, these are meant to be new player type things, so having like, LF Cooler or Z Trunks or a lot newer units would be kind of silly in their own business aspect. So I understand it. It's just, I wish it went further for my own sake, but it is what it is. Got the Shenron wishes, so that's a lot of CC, a lot of resources there. Hoi Poi was a little nerfed. They don't include as much as they used to, but it is still existent. You're just casually getting, your bonus battles, your bonus Zenny, your bonus EXP, your souls. You're also always doing these things, so it's just a little addition. Could have been better. Yes, I do agree. Is it the worst? No. Co-op isn't even too bad as well. I do wish co-op reset the seeds, but that's just a thing that's going to happen over time that we're not going to get anyways, so it's not because the anniversary's fault, but co-op is not as grueling this time around. Sometimes it is kind of just tedious as hell with the specific unit you're up against. against this Jiren is just a cakewalk. Bro does nothing, so that's at least a W there. The missions here, also a decent thing. And then the equipment bonanza. Now, I don't know if the rates are ever going to be stated for these. I know the, normal equipment bonanza is just upped rates, probably like a point, or maybe like a 5 to 15% percentage up. Maybe this here is like a 30% percentage up. I don't know. When it does like proc, it's peak proc. I don't know. But the fact that we have this, and the fact that it's actually at a good timing, because a lot of times they would do this with like, oh, well, here's the day before USTR resets, it's where it ends. They're doing this from now, from where it's already begun, to the 5th. They're doing this actually good timings, so our players can utilize this because there are new equipments coming out, the co-op equipment, the PvP equipment that we're going to be getting from the new PvP season, yada, 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 wherever it is. If it's good or bad, we will see. But the fact that we can actually get these with equipments that are going to be new, that are already new, is a W from Legends there. On top of saving resources is something you can do. Even here, the Anniversary Surprise, getting the availability to pick units for Z-Power there. They're not great units, but again, that is meant for Z ability more than actual unit of usage play. The Treasure Battle Anniversary stuff we'll be getting soon, I believe. Yeah, the 31st there. Extra rewards, they have Legends Ranking Anniversary. I don't really know the special edition version. I guess we'll find out what that means. Chance time, it is what it is. It's kind of just like, oh, that exists, right? But they do have decent things coming. We even have free LFZ power, I believe, when you do clear parts of the story to like the end of it, I believe. You get like 200 LFZ power. Have a lot of LFZ power even becoming available as of right now to even look at the exchange shops where we can go. Can go here, some LFZ power. Actually could exchange for some seeds. Ooh! Seeds give you arts boost, and arts boost apply in PvP. These are very clean. Even here, the Anniversary Tuesday medals. Once you get them, boom, you get stuff done there. So overall, this anniversary so far in part 1 has had a pretty successful effect on myself. I mean, from my perspective of looking out and seeing what's actually going on and what we're actually getting for content, which we will be getting coming this reset that has just hit and just coming in the couple next weeks as part 1 still continues. I do think they have managed to do things in a good manner. I mean, really, I'm interested and kind of surprised they actually did things as proper as they did. Again, compare last year, which was very dull, very boring. There was nothing to do. There's not even any events, and I know there's not many right now, but there's more than there was. Then you have the banner being kind of mediocre with the LF sideline units. This one's not too far off, but the actual units that you're pulling for are all very good. You had MUI, who was carried by the droids. While he was still good, he was still carried by a different unit. Now you have Goku Frieza, who can solo carry himself. You have Jiren, who's doing his job perfectly. You have Kaiwei, who's doing her job very well. Casserole, kind of mediocre, but there has to be one, off unit on a 4-unit banner. I wouldn't mind that. I don't want every unit to be as broken as the other. It has to be some balance, right? Someone has to be worse than the others. So overall, I am very impressed with this anniversary. I am very impressed that Legends actually has managed to do something in a proper manner back-to-back, because what we had prior to this, once again, was Shallot, and Shallot being the unit that did come as a pre-anniversary, I guess, celebration, a cooldown celebration of the pre-anniversary. It was interesting, and it was proper, and it was done in a good manner, and nothing was really a negative about it. Even the profile things they added was also very nice. Even here, you could get resources from this, I do believe, up to 4K CC, by the way. You just get the 5th anniversary medals, which is very easy. You do your co-ops, do your missions, blah, blah, blah. It's a nice change of pace to see that Legends has done things good. And Legends has done things good with the banner, the celebration. The upcoming parts of the celebration hopefully will be as good as part 1. But for what we have now, we got a lot of resources coming. We got a lot of CC that's able to be accessed in part 1. So for what it's worth, for what we wanted, and for what we're getting, comparably to the other years, this is a lot more frugal than it's ever been, which I am glad about. I'm glad I can make this video, and it's a praising Legends, not a ranting about Legends. Because last year, that's all we had to do, right? It's all we could do, rant, and hope it got better. 5th year has definitely not been as bad as 4th year, 3rd year, 2nd year. If you want to say 1st year is better, that's fine, but I think 5th year technically right now, as part 1, is better than 1st year, currently. Especially because the units, really, that's really it for me here. But what do you guys think of the 5th anniversary so far? I personally think it has been the best it probably can be. Obviously, there could be some tweaks to get more stuff than not, but we have so much stuff already. I don't mind them not having everything in the world being perfect, 100% peak potential. It's good enough for me. I enjoy it. I think it's very clean. I think it's very proper. What do you guys think of the 5th anniversary so far? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.